4, and we live. All right, folks. It's your boy Chris Lee and your boy.
So Lee.
This is another episode of the Kickback Podcast, y'all. This is going to be a very different one. We're going to touch on different topics. So we're going to try to like segue into a secondary topic and kind of still touch on the main one. It's a lot to cover. I appreciate y'all for who's watching this, who will be watching this. I appreciate you for being here. Before we get too far down the rabbit hole, what we're talking about, if you like our podcast so far, you've seen us down your timeline so far, make sure you go like the Kickback Podcast page. That is DA Kickback Podcast. Make sure you go like that page for more content, or either Chris Lee, that's KHRIS Lee, or you hit Solely on his social media platforms, which is the Solely the Superband, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Or one Superbad music on Instagram.
All right, awesome. So you know where to find us at. So let's say if you want to save this video for later, you know where to find it at. So with that being said, let's kind of jump into the topics at hand. So there's an elephant in the room of upcoming, well, would-be action movie star, Mr. Johnathan Majors, who has really took America by storm, or took the acting Hollywood by storm with his recent roles that he's taken up in Hollywood. This brother been in quite a few films. I think one of my first true introductions to Johnathan Majors was a series called The Lovecraft Country.
Yeah.
And oh my God, that's probably by far one of my favorite sci-fi series ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mine
ever.
Too.
Like, just I'm talking about. They said over Star Wars, Star Trek. Yes, over that, because it told the story from African American, a black person's perspective in the segregation era. Which was a really good story, and it was very unfortunate that it was canceled, because I really loved his role in that, man. It was awesome. But yet you got series like Velma and these other retarded ass series getting 3 seasons and 4 seasons. But I noticed a pattern with HBO here, or cinema, whatever series that whatever platform that used it, like The Watchmen, when you had Regina King kind of was at the helm of the series The Watchmen. I noticed anytime you have a show with a very black cast and a very strong, unapologetic black presence, they don't want to see too much of that, so they get rid of it quick. Because Watchmen only had 1 season too, as well. So, it's a kind of pattern. But anyhow, but you get stuff like Power and BMF kind of have multiple seasons about drug dealers and whatnot. But anyhow, that's neither here nor there. But Mr. Johnathan Majors started there from what I saw him, and then he ended up being on Ant-Man and Wasp as Kang the Conqueror. So if you know anything about comics, he apprised that role, and he's done a phenomenal job. Me and my wife went to go see it, mainly because he was in the film, and seeing him kicking Ant-Man's ass in the trailer, which is weird because normally the hero don't get their butt kicked in the trailer, but he was getting stomped. I'm talking about like Project Stomp, like somebody should have been in the background. He ain't fighting fair. Get your ass off and stop, Ray. Like it should have been something like that going in the background. That would have made it like all the more better. But anyway, I love that film. And of course, he played in Creed. Like, oh my God, like that's probably one of my favorite Rocky spinoffs. And Doughboy's done a phenomenal job. The acting, the story, it was just, I couldn't have asked for a better film. And he just really done his thing there. And I just love the relationship him and Mr. Michael B. Jordan has. And he's just really been a humble spirit in Hollywood. He's been very humble in his interviews, very kind of like in touch with his feminine side, but really showcased his masculine side as well, and just comfortable in his own skin, which you don't see that a lot with our brothers nowadays. And this brother's just been a humble spirit, and then to see or to hear about these events that he's wrapped up in. I want to start with you, Solely. What was your take when you first heard about these allegations on Mr. Majors? I think we got. Oh, there we go. We back.
So it caught me by surprise because it doesn't seem like him, but I knew, being Hollywood, it's always two sides of a story, I knew that just that story that was being told was not the be all of the whole situation. So when I started digging a little bit deeper, man, it seemed like it's so many stories out that he did this, and there's some stories out that he was the one that called the cops, and then the women retracting their story, and then it's like the allegation for him to be booked, well, arrested, and then the companies letting him go when they don't even really know the story, the full story.
Right.
I think it was and I know companies got to save their behind. They don't want to be tied up into like domestic abuse, or whatever with a prominent actor like that. But they just dropped him like the stuff was actually like true.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows anything. He was just arrested, and we haven't really got all the details on that situation yet. It's kind of like what's my man? God, what's my man name that played in Pirates?
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp.
The same thing happened. Same thing happened to him. But I think these labels, these companies, man, they be so into making money that they don't really care. They don't really care about you. They don't really care about what's going on. They just know that this man was in this situation and it looked bad on the surface, but under you have no idea what really happened. Especially with the girls retracting their story. So that should have let them know, like, okay, what's something else is going on here. Maybe I shouldn't drop him, right now. But they did, and I think they're going to at the end of the day, hopefully they end up kicking themselves in the behind, because they made a bad choice.
Yeah. Well, what I would say with that is I 100% agree. And one thing I've learned in this whole climate is that anytime you deal with anything related to something like Disney or something where your fan base is possibly young adults or kids, rather, you are held at a very much higher standard far as image wise.
Yeah.
For example, you had actors like in the past who have had really messy passes, messy images, like with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. They had domestic violence at some point. At points, they had allegations. You had all these other actors. I'm trying to think of other names like Mickey Rourke and other actors who was involved in being locked up, law enforcement, domestic violence, gun violence, DUIs, and all these other criminal charges, but they still reprise their roles in whatever films they were in. But then when you're, it seems like when you sign a role with something like Disney, and it's not to say Disney's control of any of that, but it just when you in some sort of role like that. Like, for example, Johnny Depp was in Pirates of the Caribbean, and Pirates of the Caribbean was obviously Disney. And so you have people who are in these um, contracts with the studio. Any allegations that remotely is negative, you're dropped like a hot potato, because they can't ruin or potentially um, scar they potentially their name, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that you really get a lot of, like with Johnny Depp situation. Like, this girl was Amber Heard, it was going pretty hard
Yeah.
on the allegations against Johnny Depp, how he was domestically violent and how he was just
Mm-hmm.
abusive and verbally abusive and on drugs and all this other things. And man, Disney pulled the plug on the man. Like, you had
Yep.
another Pirates of the Caribbean movie that was possibly on the way, some other films that was in the work. He was part of Fantastic Beasts, which is a Harry Potter franchise film. And they pulled him from that. Like, we watch him lose roles like overnight. And this court case has been a drug out case to where it became like entertainment for the most part. Almost to the point where it almost been a series on Hulu. Like, you ever seen episode 2 of Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and it became like a global thing when everybody, all eyes was on that. And then when they found out he was innocent, everybody was like, "Oh, well, I always knew he was innocent." No, you didn't. For the most part, people was jumping on the bandwagon to demonize him. So I always figured something was weird about Johnny Depp. He was always weird, and people were just throwing him to the wayside. And now that he was found innocent, we still haven't seen him reprise a role. I know he got his contract back with Cologne and stuff like that. He made a commercial about that, and I think during the Super Bowl some years ago. But we haven't seen him reprise a role or anything remotely close to a role since then. So it's very unfortunate his career took a hit to that. But one thing we have learned, or we should have learned, is in media, especially with that, you have to be careful before you start picking a side on a case before it's proven. These companies are so quick to not be caught in the crosshairs of an allegation to where they're just pulling everywhere. And
Mm-hmm.
then it's gonna really add a bad image as to where, like, look, how are you to pull away from this young man where this is not even a court case as of yet? This is not even, there's no physical evidence
Right.
presented as of yet. I mean, we heard about quote unquote doctor documentation about her having wounds on her neck and her head, but there's no visual. There's nothing to prove that the young lady hasn't came forth with her name, so therefore she's a Jane Doe. So it's all speculation at this point. Now, I'm not to say he's innocent. If he isn't, then that is shame on him. He definitely need to seek help for that, or be properly held accountable for that if it
Mm-hmm.
is to be true. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not here to support domestic violence by any shape or form.
Right.
However, it's very, how can I put it? It's not that you're on my conspiracy train, but it's very convenient that when somebody becomes big, now all these allegations come out. Soon as somebody sign a major contract and people see billions of dollars being generated from this contract,
Yeah.
now he's abusive. Now he's
Mm-hmm.
a psycho. Now, like, where was all this before?
Right.
Where was this when he was on Lovecraft Country and all these other films? Because if he's been doing this for this whole time and all these years, as many sources came out to kind of like piggyback on the case. Yeah, I used to work with him, and he is a psycho. He is crazy. Don't let him fool you. Well, where was the antennas years ago? Why didn't y'all come forth years ago
Right.
and did it then? Now with this allegation is recent, obviously recent, but there was people within his circle or Hollywood directors and other people are saying, yeah, he is crazy, quote unquote, etc. But where was this intent? Where were these antennas before? Why
Right.
now, when this man is pretty much at the mountaintop of his career, these allegation comes out? Have you noticed that anytime somebody's at the top of their career, now all the gay allegations are coming out? Oh yeah, by the way, he touched me 10 years ago. Well, why the hell you ain't said nothing 10 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
He's crazy 10 years ago. Well, why the hell you ain't saying that 10 years ago? Why are you saying something now? You saying something now because he's hot. You
Right.
saying something now because his name is circulating. You
Yeah.
saying something now because you're looking for possibly some sort of segue, some sort of deal, some sort of book deal, some sort of series, some sort of praise out of this. Because I'm like this: if Sean or Mr. Soul Lee robbed me at gunpoint and pistol whipped me 3 years ago, I'm going to go to the police 3 years ago or handle the situation 3 years
Right.
ago. I'm not going to wait 3 years later with Soul Lee on his tour and he got his own show. He got Chris Brown and everybody opening for him, and I'll be like, by the way, he pistol with me 3 years ago. Like
Right.
that's not how this works. And
Yeah.
I feel like when situations like that take place, it should automatically be discredited. In my opinion, well, you should have said some years ago. Never mind this. Let this brother be him. No, we're not going to look into it. No, we're not going to pay attention. No, we're not going to investigate it. You should have did it then. You should have done it then. Too late to do it now because now I feel like you have a motive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what it feels like. A lot of these people have motives. This actor off this show called Beef on Netflix, which is a really good series, by the way. If y'all haven't watched it, please check that out. So I think a few actors on there that y'all might be familiar with really did a great job. But anyhow, one of the young men that was on there, he was a graffiti artist and a video artist, and he apparently had an interview some years ago about him making a rapey comment, or he had rapey tendencies. In the conversation, this podcast, I want to say 3 years ago, and now guess what? It's relevant now. So now it's circulating. So now they demanded his job to be lost and demand. And don't get me wrong, I don't support by no means anybody who's talking about taking something from a woman without consent. I don't support that by no means. I mean, yes is yes and no is damn hell no. But however, with that being said, why wasn't this? If there was a podcast years ago, why would this address then? Why this is addressed now? You see him on a TV screen. Oh yeah, he made this comment 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of it, man. Like,
yeah, man. Yeah.
I'm sick of it.
Yeah. Hey, man, they be coming out. They be coming out the woodwork, man. And it's like, and you. Sometimes I can feel it, like when it's about to happen. Like some of these artists that blow up, like not like overnight, because Johnathan, he had been doing this stuff for for some years now. Ever since Lovecraft Company, Lovecraft Country, and when stuff starts going, and just like Michael B. Jordan, then a couple years ago, it was him about something about some white girl stuff. This was a couple years ago too with him. Then Johnathan comes around, and it's like, oh, this dude is he's making major moves. He was on the magazine covers and all that stuff recently. What I think it's in February or something like that. And he's up here, like you said, he's up here on this mountain, and now just something, out the blue, and nobody seems to know any information right now. Now he didn't fell all the way down. Hell, same thing happened to Kobe Bryant. The same stuff.
Oh God, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan.
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson, yes, man. It goes on and on and on. You can go to Kevin Hart, you can go to Cat Williams, you can go Bill Cosby, Richard Pryor, all of these, celebrities. I don't know if they go through stuff or the industry put them in things and they really can't do anything about, and they just get caught in this web, and it's like they got to fight through it. It's one of them things, man. It's one of them things.
I feel like there's two sides or three sides to all of this. It's his side, her side, and what actually happened. And that goes in all of the scenarios we just named with all the individuals.
Yeah.
And I thought about you. I'm so glad you brought up Kevin Hart, because when we had this conversation about a couple of days ago about what our topic's going to be, and I thought about, we talked about this, I thought about what Dave Chappelle said when he did his first stand-up appearance on Netflix some years ago, which was like all of his specials are dope. He's the GOAT to me, but neither here nor there. But he said, I didn't want to get too big because I felt like they would have Kevin Harted me.
Mm-hmm.
And he mentioned how they found tweets from Kevin Hart years ago about a dollhouse and if his son was to be into dolls or anything like that, and how what he would do with the
Mm-hmm.
dollhouse. I'm not going to quote it, but you can look it up yourself. And it was all in joking fashion, but it was
Mm-hmm.
years prior to his catapult into success.
Mm-hmm.
And being that now Kevin Hart is one of the biggest comedian actors in this generation, the allegations are now brought to relevance.
Yep.
And now it's relevant now. But
Mm-hmm.
when he was soul playing Kevin Hart, no one better I know and cared about those
Right.
comments,
Yeah.
right? When he was Paperboy, or was it Paper Soldiers? I think he was Paper Soldiers too. He wasn't relevant. He wasn't big enough. And I feel like, and this, I'm gonna just say it. I feel like the powers that be and certain people wait. They hold information on you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I had a little demonstration I had, y'all. But they hold information on you. They got this folder with all Mr. Solely's dirty deeds. And they're gonna just hold it. Solely ain't big enough yet to bring this out because it's not gonna get enough traction. Follow
Mm-hmm.
me here. If I
Mm-hmm.
connecting dots, it's not enough
Mm-hmm.
traction. If I leak it now, a lot of people around the Carolinas may know Solely. A lot of people outside of Carolinas may know, but he's not just yet that name for this to be a global thing.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wait till Mr. Solely get a little bigger. We can wait. This gonna be maybe a year later, maybe 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years later. But when Mr. Solely at the peak of his career, doing Netflix series and doing verses with other artists, and now he's like phenomenal, like #1 selling artist and all this. Did I tell you, by the way? You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. That's period what it is.
Yeah. And you know, and that folder can be comprised of things that they know that may have been bad, like actually, and some things that were only bad in their eyes. You know, like like it was no secret on one side, but since they didn't know about it, then they put it in that folder too, and they blow it up like
And then
it was
twist the
something.
narrative.
Yeah, right.
And fix it. Because here's the thing. If you're into something or you're recreational or something and it's your business, because damn it, it's your business, and it's not for the world to know, but if somebody else knows of it and they bring it out, they have the power to change the narrative.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And when they change the narrative, they already beat you to your punch to defend yourself.
Yep.
So the thing that we did a podcast some years ago about this young lady, I forgot her name, about this. She was running track for the Olympics and they caught her smoking marijuana. She felt a drug test.
Yeah.
And but the narrative outran her explanation.
Mm-hmm.
And the narrative was she's doing drugs, she's smoking weed. I figure these black girls ain't, she ratchet. And they just built the whole house of narratives before she had a chance to even defend herself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how this goes.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we could be completely wrong. Mr. Majors might be the big bad villain. But the point I'm making is the way it is presented as if this isn't a one-trick pony. It didn't happen recently. It's something that's been going on for some time. The way they've been going, the way these other people are chiming in and saying, oh, he been like that. Or I'm glad somebody finally caught on. How else would we catch on, Sway? Was you waiting for us to catch the smoking gun? Because if you know it, then you're just as guilty as he was. If you knew he was this way, then you were accomplished in my eyes because you knew this brother was doing this type of things and you said nothing. Why? It wasn't time yet to bring out that folder.
That's right.
It wasn't time yet because, so, and it's like, then they had one director, he kind of spoken very vague, like, and he like didn't mention his name, but y'all found out about this person. But then as soon as it comes out and somebody tweeted, oh, this who you was talking about, ding, 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 yes, it was. You should have said it back then, motherfucker. Excuse my French, but you should have said it back then. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy how people just say the thing about Bill Cosby. That is the epitome of fuck shit. That's the epitome. Because this was 40 years ago. We weren't even here. 40 years ago. 40 years ago. Probably more than that now because his allegations went down. These women say, he raped me. 40 years ago.
40. Yeah.
Why you ain't saying nothing then? That's like you stole my bike and I go to the police department 20 years from then, from now, 20 years now into the future. You did it 20 years ago, but him at the police department, Mr. Soul, he stole my bike at my yard. When did this place? I think it was 2001. Was it 2001? 2002?
Right.
You know, and I'm like, if you did this in a regular case with if you went to the police office or the police department and you report a certain crime, timelines of these events are very important because they have to do investigations, right? You don't want to kill it to go out on the loose. You don't want to get a killer a 20-year head start, do you? You don't want to get the big bad wolf a 40-year head start, do you? Of course not. You want it done then. If you was done wrong, you want some accountability done then, right then and there. If you punch me in my face and I'm gonna fire, I'm not gonna wait years later. I'm gonna go immediately to report this.
Exactly.
But Bill Cosby got at the height of his career.
Was about to buy
some networks that you know that the Caucasian people say, look, we let you be big. We already gave you America's father. We already give you that title. You're not going to get nothing else. This is what you're going to get. You're not, oh, you want this? He's too big for his britches. He thinks he's not a nigger anymore because he's rich. Put him back in his place, please. 40 years ago, all these women damn near geriatric using jitterbugs. He touched me. Well, okay. So if that's valid, right? If you're going to go off that and say, well, Chris, wrong is wrong, and maybe they was too scared. 40 years of being scared, that's a lot of time to be scared. All right, sure. All right. Or maybe they didn't feel nobody would believe them. I mean, I wouldn't believe you in 40 years later. I'd probably believe you then. However, so, okay, let's say that holds up. He did time for it. Whatever, how many years he did for it, or how many months he did for it, he did time for it. What happened to the young lady that said, old boy whistled at her? You know, the young black man who got killed. What was his name?
Emmett Till.
The white lady who said he whistled at him. That caused the whole revolution to take place to begin with. This wasn't just a small white lie. It was a lie from a small white lady, but it wasn't a small white lie. And this caused a whole domino effect. And this lady on her deathbed, or damn near on her deathbed, said it was all a lie. Well, why the hell you want her accountable?
Exactly. They talking about she too old now. You know,
Bill Cosby too old.
I think last time I checked, she lived in Raleigh or something like that. Yeah. I was like, I went. Did you see that? Did you see the movie Till?
I didn't want to watch it, man, because every time I watch movies like that, I feel some sort of way, and I can't be around opposite race people when I watch movies like that because it's not their fault. But sometimes you just I can't do it.
I feel you, bro. I watched that movie, man, and I'm like, I like for the past years, like even knowing about Emmett Till and what his mom fought for, I always like I never understood why that lady would like lie on this young man like that, and it's like what was the need for it? This man that lost his life, that life right there that was killed. It was a domino effect from his mom to his uncle to
not on here.
It was a domino effect, man. And just because you said this dude whistled at you, and your boyfriend or whatever, I guess balls wasn't big enough to just be like, oh well, he felt some type of way that a little kid whistled at his wife. I mean, like, that shows how big of a man you are, or how small,
that just shows your intimidation.
Yeah, man.
You was intimidated even by a young black child. So, and I say that because the same way they held Bill Cosby accountable, they should have held that lady accountable. Bill Cosby touched grown ass women.
Right.
And they always doing drugs back then. They always having a good time. It was the 70s, I think, the 60s.
Yeah.
During the time when sexual exploration was at its peak.
Yeah.
You know, where everybody was doing everybody. That was the original Freaknik, you know.
Exactly.
And that was acceptable during that time.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And they were grown women who could have went to the police department 365 days out of each of those 40 years. They could have went to the police department 300. I don't know the math for that, but 365 times, I don't know, 40 years. I mean, I don't know the math with that, but all I know is you had infinite. Look, you had that much time to go to the police department to say this took place with Mr. Bill Cosby. You ain't thought about this when Bill Cosby had his stand-up specials? You ain't thought about that when he had the Cosby Show? But you, and maybe you did, but you waited to where right when he wanted to start making some moves.
Right.
So you know, and that's you know, and that's the thing that bothers me. And I feel like, okay, if you're gonna do that to Bill Cosby, okay, we take it on the chin. But that lady who done it in Matilda should serve some time too.
Yeah.
Because she calls a young man's life.
Yeah.
And but it won't be done, and we know why. Those who watching, we know why. We don't got to speak on it. We know why. And I say that because not long ago, and oh man, I might get in some trouble, but not long ago, they had the Epstein Island. Remember the whole Epstein situation? And oh man, and Mr. Epstein was such a bad man. He was a bad guy. He was single-handedly by himself, one man, doing all this unspeakable things to children, to teenage women by himself, nobody else, just him. Just one man, I'm talking about the Pied Piper, just having a gaggle of young women just following his every call, his footsteps to his island by himself. And did all those acts with multiple women by himself. And he was the big bad wolf.
Right.
Mind you, he's friends with a lot of politicians and a lot of actors and a lot of actresses who all took trips to those islands, who was very well documented, took trips to that island as well.
Mm-hmm.
But none of y'all knew he was bringing kids around. None of y'all seen no Doris Ford backpacks, and you know, none of y'all seen no little tube socks and all. None of y'all seen him doing homework during all this time. None of y'all had no idea. Yes, you did. You was probably tickling the same booties he was tickling. The problem is, you found him as a scapegoat, and you figured out, oh, this gonna get hit off me. Yeah. Wait. You take mine out. Oh, here you go. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much what happened. So then what happened? They blame it on Gazelle, his right-hand accomplice, the woman. So you mean them two did it all? Now, I don't know if you remember or not, but Miss Gazelle, had Mr. Anthony Weiner's laptop. Now, y'all better start doing some research here, buddy, because it's going deep. Yep. Mr. Anthony Weiner had all the files on everybody. I'm talking about the ones you thought that was good and that was great. They in there too, baby. And guess what happened? Mr. Anthony Weiner's laptop got missing. It's gone. Then guess what? Miss Gazelle, who was going to flip on everybody, apparently now doing all the time. What happened? What happened to her flipping on everybody? What happened? Yep. What happened?
Yep.
And all those actors and actresses who were associated, who were being investigated, remember all of them went on house arrest, and conveniently enough, it took place during COVID. Conveniently enough, so all of them now are staying at their house, and all of them can't go out now because we all sick. I can't go in public now. And soon as she got her jail time, here they come back in movies. I'm back in the movies now. I'm back acting and doing my own TV show now. I'm back in the scene now. You thought we forgot about that? They had your name on those flight logs, buddy. We
That's
remember
right.
that. We saw that. Now you're free to go. Now you back doing every chucking and jiving like we forgot.
Yeah.
But let Mr. R. Kelly
Yeah.
do something. And yes, it was very wrong. And he acknowledged it was wrong. And I don't condone it. However, Mr. R. Kelly, oh man, they made a whole series about Mr. R. Kelly, didn't they? I think they made 2 parts of 2 seasons actually. And everybody, he touched me in the studio and said I'd be famous. Where the hell was your parents?
Bruh.
Turns out a lot of these parents co-signed to that. A lot of these parents signed that dotted line because they thought when you get famous, we getting rich. So you sold your child off thinking you're going to get rich, and it did pan out. Now, Mr. R. Kelly wronged us. No. You did a shady deal with your child. Shame on you, assuming your child was going to blow up. It didn't happen the way you thought. Now you own this series, Mr. R. Kelly. That's my wife in the background. But
tell us what's up.
Oh yeah. Soli, say what up. So you had all of this to take place with R. Kelly. And it's like, wow, where was y'all antennas when he actually married Aaliyah? Where was this then? Why y'all didn't criminalize him then? Everybody with 2 eyeballs knew Aaliyah was underage. Knew that.
Everybody knew about Jerry Lee Lewis.
Oh, Jerry Lee Lewis. Was she 14?
Elvis and
when she 14, Mr. Soli?
Yeah.
14. Jerry Lee, and not only that, but it was his damn first cousin.
Right.
Mr. Elvis was wildly known for sleeping with underage women. Where's his documentary? I want to know where's Rocking with Elvis. Oh, where is that documentary? You won't get that. You won't get it.
No.
No white people gonna let you demonize Elvis like that. You crazy. You out your damn mind.
Right.
They would have to tear down all his tributes in Vegas. They would have to redo everything. Boy, it's just too much. It's just too much to undo. With the great Elvis. You know, the great Elvis who stole everything. Anyway, so you know. So, but with that being said, though, it's kind of convenient, when it's the other way around. Michael Jackson's been dead for how many years? And Surviving Neverland,
right?
Produced by Oprah Winfrey. Hold on, Oprah. Isn't your best friend Mr. Wine? What's his name?
Yeah.
Winehouse. I forgot his name, but he was actually on trial for sexual assault by multiple actresses who all publicly came out.
Yeah.
That's your best friend. Many of photos with this man.
Yeah.
But you want to kick dirt on somebody who's been dead all these years?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't understand. Oh, guess what? Michael Jackson also bought most of Sony, so you kind of know how that goes. But anyway,
exactly.
So he had too much. He actually successfully bought Sony, and he bragged about it. And they said, "We get the last laugh. We'll get the last laugh." Yeah.
Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein. Have you heard anything about him? Did he
do jail time? We heard nothing.
Convenient. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, didn't he have a whole movie production studio? He had a whole movie production studio. Is that studio? I'm pretty sure it's still up. I'm pretty sure it's still open, but that's neither there. But anyway, the point, y'all get the pattern what we laying out for you. So, that's just my view. I just tell you, you just really got to follow the patterns here. Yeah. Follow the patterns.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's a shame, man. We need to do a podcast on all these little kids in Hollywood that have gone through, those casting couches and all that stuff. Going through that,
Man,
it's so many, yo.
Bro, you got so many who publicly came out. Yeah. And here's what's
Shirley Temple, all that,
Oh man, the little girl from the Poltergeist, there's very well documentation about what happened with her for real. But and ironically, the whole cast of those movies died as well. I mean, go figure. But it's just one of those things, man, where the powers that's why I said the Hollywood and that industry is very wicked, man. Very, very wicked.
Yeah.
And you can't be a pure soul operating in that field for too long without being compromised.
Mm.
Because if you're a pure soul operating in that field, you're untouchable. They can't manipulate you. If they can't manipulate you, you are then a threat. If you're a threat, they're gonna find whatever angle to break you down. And once you're broken down, they're gonna say, guess what? We'll get you back to where you were at, but you're gonna have to do a few things for me. But I'm gonna get you where
Mm-hmm.
you was at, even bigger.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Dave Chappelle had to bounce. Dave Chappelle almost had that deal, $100 million deal. He had to leave it. Leave it on the table. Disappeared for how many years? Didn't they demonize Mr. Dave Chappelle? Said he was on crack and all this other stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and have
Crazy.
Africa crazy
Yeah.
and all that, right? Right. Then he come back years later as he never left. But then guess what? Dave Chappelle being Dave Chappelle, they didn't like Dave Chappelle being Dave Chappelle, so they used the alphabet community to try to demonize him and take him down because they've been so successful taking everybody else down. But they couldn't take Mr. Dave Chappelle down. They tried their damnness, but all the power of the rainbow and Captain Planet could not bring him down. So what ended up happening? You had one wild incident at one of his shows where one of quote unquote member of the community tried to stab him and got stomped the hell out for trying to do so. So, and he's still untouchable. And oh my God, they are upset about that. They can't bring him down. And that's what I love to see with somebody who stand on their own 2 feet and say what they mean and mean what they say and stand by it, whether we agree or
Mm-hmm.
disagree. But and the powers that be try to pull you down, but they cannot. They do not have enough resources nor the power because you could care less.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very interesting. So yeah, about the child, yeah, that's gonna be a whole nother episode. Which we will touch on that. But I just really feel like those individuals who partake in that are untouchable
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of other people who take place in that are judges, Supreme Court judges, DAs, ex-presidents, and all these other people who are very well powerful and connected. And don't matter how many videos and visuals you can showing that they are in the wrong, they cannot be touched. And they know they
Man,
can't, and they look at you like, what the hell you're gonna do?
but what's crazy, our leader,
Mm-hmm.
I have seen some pretty disturbing videos of him too. But you don't hear nothing about that stuff.
You won't though. You won't. The
No,
previous,
him with kids.
yeah,
You
yeah, yeah,
know?
yeah. Previous leader as well was
Mhm.
best friends with guess who? Mr. Epstein himself. Not just him, but the previous presidents before was friends with Mr. Epstein. Why he's friends with all these presidents? Interesting. So wait, if I'm friends with you and you are a drug kingpin and I'm your friend and I'm caught on multiple different scenarios, different pictures, different events with you, how would I not know you a kingpin?
Yeah.
How would I not know? Could it be I know and condone it? Or could it mean I know and I partake?
Right.
So, it's very convenient. You got an island where you can do all your dirty deeds. And you
Right.
don't got to worry about no state regulation, no government, and this, that, and third. And you keep it quiet, go back to the States, go back to your wives and your lives and performing Disney movies and all these other movies, play fathers and mothers in these movies, have your own daytime TV show, daytime, show where you interview other people who had. It's very interesting. You do all that, but then when the lights off, well, man, you're doing some unspeakable events. And very well documented detective work from all sources, all pointed to the smoking guns. Hence, somebody by the last name of Gunn was really at the forefront of all these allegations. Now he's producing movies from Disney, Marvel, and DC.
Mm.
Okay. So the point I'm saying is the powers that be controls everything,
Mm-hmm.
even currency.
Mm-hmm.
And when controlling currency, I control the dynamic of how this country is ran.
Yeah.
The power of the dollar control decision making,
Mm-hmm.
control partnerships, control countries, control
Yep.
politicians, control who win in these
Mm-hmm.
political things. And you've been using that currency to control everything.
Yeah.
You even have people like Mr. Gaddafi himself, who God
Mm-hmm.
rest his soul. If you don't know about him, look him up. He had his own. He was as you would say, I guess, a dictator, a
Mm-hmm.
leader. And wasn't a dictator, but a leader. And Mr. Gaddafi wanted his own currency. He wanted no parts of American currency. He wanted his own, and he's successfully been doing his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, he lost his life. God rest his soul, conveniently enough.
Mm-hmm.
And every other world leader who wanted to create their own currency or part away from the American country currency as well, also sadly lost their lives. God rest their souls. Very unfortunate pattern of events.
Yep.
And even the creators of Bitcoin, God rest
Mm-hmm.
their souls. A lot of them are God, rest your soul, lost their lives as well. You don't know what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is alternative um, from physical money, and Bitcoin actually is technically a currency that does not need a dollar. You can use a
Mm-hmm.
dollar to purchase it. You can use physical money to purchase it. But once you purchase Bitcoin, Bitcoin cannot be traced. Therefore, taxed. Therefore, you can become a Bitcoin billionaire if you do you play your cards right.
Mm-hmm.
However, that currency is not dependent on the U.S. dollar by the U.S. Treasury and the Federal Reserve. Therefore, you're in the way. You got to go.
Mm-hmm.
So even the person who created, God knows, man, what is it? Cash App.
Yep.
Jesus, man, you after the small fries now. After the small fish. Now we got to watch out for the creative Dave. Somebody please watch out for the creators of Dave, the little cash card and chime. Please watch out for them, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but all of these people who create their own sort of currency, their own infrastructure of economy, are all attacked.
Yep.
Very interesting. And the dollar, I don't know if you noticed or y'all been following, but the dollar has lost or losing its value.
Yep.
Now, not to go there, you know, not to go there, but I do have a few things here. Just want to touch on here. Um, let me see here. Let me see. I got it written down somewhere. Revelations 13, chapter 13, verse 17 says, there, so that no one can buy or sell unless they take the mark. That is the name of the beast and the number of its name. Now, I'm going to just briefly read this. Chapter 13, verse 16 through 18. Also, it calls all, both small and great, both rich and poor, both free and slave, to be marked with the right hand or the forehead, so that no one can buy or sell unless they has the mark and the name of the beast or the name or the number of his name. This call of wisdom, let no one who has understand the calculated number of the beast, for the number of a man in his number 666. Now, a lot of people probably follow that and like, what the hell does that have to do with the price in China, tea in China? Well, here's where it ties in that. The Bible actually spoke about current money or the dollar losing its value. It spoke about that. And it spoke about the dollar losing its value and it we turn into another form of currency where everybody has to abide by the same currency. Now, with that being said, it says you cannot buy nor sell. Buy nor sell. So that basically means, let's say if the dollar does lose its value, which it will pretty soon, but once it do, obviously the Federal Reserve and the powers that be have to come up with some sort of infrastructure to how to control or monopolize the infrastructure. Hence, the creators of Bitcoin and all these other small practices are now out of the picture. And guess what? I can swoop in and take over Bitcoin, etc., etc. However, if I take control over these things, right, and the dollar then loses value, I can say, Mr. Soley, I can only pay you in shows from all of your shows only in Bitcoin. Therefore, the dollars have no value. But only through Bitcoin, I can supply your cost of living. I can supply your money for your wages. Okay. With that
Mm-hmm.
being said, I can then track how much money you have, how much money he has, how much money she has, how much money everybody has, and I can control in real time the finances that you have. Therefore, if you get a wild hair to try to stand up against me and my powerful people, I can pull every resource out of your bank account. If you don't believe me, for those who watching, please research this. Because there has been documentation to where a currency has been worked on to where everybody will get a set allowance. Yep, look it up. We'll get a set allowance. And that set allowance will be equal across all boards, rich and poor. So your set allowance will be given to you based off your good deeds that you perform as a citizen. Any negative deed you perform will deduct from your allowance or possibly have you cut off from your allowance. Hence, translation, mark of the beast, you cannot buy nor sell. There you go. Take it, whether you don't believe in the Bible or not, it still stands true. So, with that being said, these individuals who are empowered of these companies are now disappearing or losing their lives, conveniently so, and the dollar losing value, and the powers that be controls Federal Reserve and all these other dollars will only control toilet paper in a few short years, or maybe 10 years from now, will only then control toilet paper. But nobody has power controlling toilet paper, right? You learned that from COVID. Toilet paper don't hold you no power. You don't take over the half of Raleigh by having all of the toilet paper in Raleigh. That's not how it works. They'll find another source to use. Hey, you're from the hood, you know what to use outside of toilet paper. However, with that being said, if your money lose value, you then have to find another source to control the economy. Therefore, what other source that can control the economy that's already doing partly so? Bitcoin. I rest my case.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There you have it.
Hey, that was hell. That was everything right there.
Sorry, I went on a rant there. Apologize.
No, man, but that's true though, man. That's everybody ends up dying some way, and nobody knows what happened. You know,
Natural causes, apparently.
but my
Even the
man,
most healthiest people, too.
bruh, yes,
Vegans also, because I'm pretty sure Prince was a vegan and he died of a drug overdose. But wait, he's Jehovah's Witness. They don't believe in drug intake. Wait, I forgot. He bought his master's years before that. Sorry. Continue. Yeah.
so it's like, yo, and my man from I think was it Cash? I think that was the one from Cash App.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Cash App, the one that got killed? Was that the one from Cash App? Or was that the other one?
The one from Cash App. Well, Bitcoin creators in Cash App all are like.
But one of them went down in a helicopter crash or something,
That's
right?
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Okay, so Cash App. He was killed.
Mm-hmm. No, stabbed, I think.
Yeah.
I think they ran out of resources at that point. They just he's Cash App. Who's going to notice?
Yo, this man was killed. He was murdered. Nobody knows any. I don't even know if they doing any investigating.
Probably. I mean, hey, I don't know.
It's like stuff like that. When you trying to change the world, because hell, the dollar has been going down for years. It's like they want that to happen. And as soon as somebody else come up with another grand idea, they get taken out. And it's just like now it's like I knew it was gonna happen kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
it was gonna happen sooner or later.
Yeah.
Sadly. So, it's a casualty of
it's business, man.
Yeah.
I think I'll say this real quick and I'll let you continue, but for those who watching this and probably think to yourselves, and I know individuals, and me and you both know, classmates from college individuals who will go up here and campaign the complete opposite. We know them personally. Pooh, we know them. Pooh, who's watching this, we know who it is. We know who it is. Me and Pooh know who. Every time me and Pooh get in one of our rants, that person comes in and want to campaign for America. Uh, but anyway, it's, but anyway, I might tag him here. But anyhow, so I think you're going to have people who watch this are going to say quite a few things. They're going to say, for starters, y'all don't have enough resource to prove any things. Okay, sure. Two, they're going to say, you just watching a lot of YouTube conspiracies. Now you deem yourself know these things. Okay, sure. Then we have a long paragraph about how the U.S. government or somebody released a statement to prove otherwise what we saying is false. And then next they're gonna say, well, if this the truth, why they're not in jail? Type thing. So you're gonna have people, and here's the thing: people who know the reality and they still deem it so
Mm-hmm.
are ones that are too afraid to accept what's really going on. They know, but they're so afraid to even open that door. They hear the noise, they hear the commotion, they hear the fighting, they hear the screams for help, but they're so afraid to open that door because what they're going to do is mess up their pretty little universe that they created of America, of what the world they live in. They got this pretty little universe of this world they live in, and if they open that door, it's going to add all sort of things on top of their mental, and they just won't be the same. They can't deal with it. So what they're going to do, they're going to avoid it. They're going to avoid. They're going to hear it. They're going to go turn the TV up. Everybody, help! They go turn the TV up. Help me, please! I know you hear me. They go turn the TV up. They go turn all the TVs up because they do not want to know what's really going on. All the evidence is knocking on the door. It's me, such and such and such. This is going on. It's really happening, and they continue to turn the TV up because they too afraid to really pay attention to what's going on. And it's like, please, the powers that be, tell me this is fake. It's fake. Oh God, thank you. I can sleep better at night. Right. And that's kind of how it is. Yeah. But here's the thing, though. I found it very interesting. If we watch shows like BMF or these drug shows or anything with drug dealers or anything of the sort, these drug shows, they dynamic is the same as the powers that be. Think about it. Think about this here. Mm-hmm. A well-known drug dealer. You know, I know, he know, she know, they know, everybody know they're drug dealers. Mm-hmm. Many people have, even the cops and BMF, try to take down Meech and his brother. Try to take them down. They got evidence. They got their boy on the inside snitching. They got everything going. But them boys are so elusive, they just can't put them to jail. Just can't do it. Just can't do it. If you watch Ghost, little Tyreek, they tried everything they can. They even got pictures of this young man, and he still can't be touched. And the reason why, because if you shake the right hands, you pay the right people, you can stay out of trouble. Now, if these small, little, intricate fries can have drug enterprises and not be, and that's a fictional show, not with Meech and him, it's not with this real drug. There's a lot of drug dealers out here that's still out here making moves, and you probably don't even know about them. They probably your kid's doctor. You have no idea. And the most biggest drug dealers are the pharmaceutical practices. But that's here there. However, these people have powers that be. They got their lawyers in place. They got their paid judges in place. They got their paid DAs in place. They got their paid everybody in place. So when things hit the fan, they got all they soldiers working for them. Therefore, they can't be touched. These are small fries, by the way. So if the small fries could come up with such a beautiful infrastructure, how in the holy hell you think the powers that be operate? Do you not think they have a better infrastructure? Do you not think they shake enough with the right hands to not be touched? Use your common sense. Use it. Because if you did, you realize everybody who tried to stand for the people end up gone. JFK said, hey, let the American people know what's all going on. Let them know what's going on behind the scenes. I want to declassify these UFO and all these other findings because the US people need to know. They deserve to, boom, shot them in the head.
Yeah. Sense is not common, So.
Nah, it ain't common. It's I don't know, but it's just to where we can use this whole Johnathan Major situation and people that demonize him and say he's wrong. But based off the allegations, you got the reports that say choking of the neck, she had a bruise on her head, We had other people that also said that he was crazy, he was manipulative, he was a cruel person. So how could it not be true?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you had Gazelle, who was the right hand of Epstein. You had Epstein's flight log. You have multiple child actors and actresses who grew up who came and said, these people were touching me. You have multiple people and all facts. You had whole documentaries that say this all took place, but y'all won't believe them. So is it that you choose what to believe or you just that naive?
Right. Right.
You believe the whole R. Kelly thing, right? And that was just all, mostly you have videos, but you also have videos of these other practices that these people have done. And they still walk free. You have well documented things about Jerry Lee Lewis, well documented cases about Mr. quote unquote King of Rock and Roll himself with underage women, and no one bats an eye.
Yeah. Yeah. Them underage girls was right there, man, and then with Michael Jackson, it's like they didn't give my man a chance, like you know.
Here's the
He
thing.
and people came out and was like, yeah, he may have. All right, what's that? I don't know. Y'all probably got a king size bed.
Yeah, King.
Or, most everybody got it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially you know Shaq. Do you remember the size Shaq bed when he was
Yeah,
on? Like, yo, that
California
job
King.
was huge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that was Shaq.
Mm-hmm.
How big of a bed do you think Michael Jackson's bed? Do you think he just got one of these beds? He just you just get from like your local furniture store or something like that.
I think he must have read it from Aaron's or Rent Center. I'm
Yeah,
thinking. I don't know.
yo, and then, I think you told me he came in and got a
Yeah, he got one.
twin.
Yeah,
Twin. He got a twin though, right?
yeah, he was late a couple times too. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, don't say that. They'll go big. They'll
Oh
go dig
no.
his ass up.
No, yeah. Mr. Michael, we need our mattresses back, sir.
Yo, but these people like these, I think the ones that were not coached by their parents, they admitted that yeah, we were in the room with Michael Jackson. He has a huge bed. He didn't do anything with us. He didn't try anything with us. Um, his bedroom was the size of a house. It wasn't just like our bedroom. It's like you may have a bathroom in there, and then your
Mm-hmm.
bed, is
Mm-hmm.
his bedroom looked like a whole house. Just his bedroom area. So yeah, you probably was in the bedroom, but ain't no telling what all he got in the bedroom. He probably, but I guess he gonna have some pet monkeys or something like that, some games,
Mm-hmm.
something else, some pinball machines.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows. A moonwalker game or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He gon' he's Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jackson has always been like young at heart. I'm gonna say young at
Mm-hmm.
heart, the
Mm-hmm.
innocent. For the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think they used that against him. In a way. Um, and I'm quite sure the parents of some of them kids wanted money. You know,
Obviously, yeah. Obviously.
and that's pretty what it boils down to a lot. Is that the parents want the money and the kids are just they in for the ride.
They in
You
for the
know,
ride, and they don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
right? Yeah.
You know, that's a very common practice in Hollywood, though.
Hmm.
Because here's my thing: for those who believe Michael Jackson was what they claimed he was, let's just use basic mathematics here. The 2 plus 2 theory is what I call basic common sense here. If I'm a parent
Hmm.
and Mr. Soley lived down the road from me,
Hmm.
now I know of Soley. I don't know him personally. I ain't went up for coffee with him. I didn't go to the gym with him, work out with him. I don't play golf with him. I don't go to church with him. I didn't go to the same school, teachers conference, parents meetings with him. However, he said, "Hey, Chris, I want to watch your kids. Do you have kids, Mr. Soley?" No, I don't have kids myself at all. Okay. Well, yeah, you can watch my kids solely, sure. Yeah, watch them as long as you need. And then now you got multiple parents letting Mr. Solely watch their kids. The guy who has no kids watch their kids. I mean, there's plenty of daycares, but I'll let Mr. Solely watch my kids. And a stranger who I know through only music watch my kids. Well, are anyone thinking about what I'm thinking about? What sane parent will leave their child with a fucking stranger? What parent will leave they famous or not? If you're a parent, you are protective of your child. You
Right.
got uncles that touch their nieces and nephews. You got
Right.
aunts that touch their nieces and nephews. And parents that touch their own kids. But you gonna let a fucking stranger with no kids watch your kids? Shame on you.
Right.
And majority of the people who had their kids over there, let's call it what it is, solely, it was Caucasian people.
Mm-hmm.
None of the black people who was part of Michael Jackson's delegation dropped their damn kids off to Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, we love your music, but you ain't watching my goddamn kids. I don't know who the hell you are. I ain't letting Al Green watch my kids. I ain't letting Michael Jordan watch my kids unless it's summer camp surrounded by other parties. But I'm not letting you watch. I don't know who the hell you are. Watch my kids. Do you have no kids? What you want to watch my kids for? What in your right rabbit ass mind will make you watch my kids? Why are you so interested in my kids? Why not watch me? I want to hang with you. I want to ride on the roller coaster. I want to play with the monkey and the giraffes. Why not me? So, you know,
But I never believed the things that were out about Mike and the wacko jacko thing. I think it was a misunderstanding on he's so
he's eccentric. He's
and pure, pure hearted, that it wasn't what what they said that he did. I think it was more of what they were thinking he wanted to do, but it was actually in their head, So
right because
the table was turned, So
there's no
it's not Michael.
doctors.
It's what you thinking about.
There's no doctor record that has been presented in those cases to where this child was physically abused and by man, mind you, unless it is, and prove me wrong, somebody. But there was no documentation where this child's parts been tampered with or anything of the sort. Even the
Right.
children said, "Nah, he ain't touched me." There was a lot of them that said, "Nah, he ain't touched me." You even
Right.
had Macaulay Culkin, the Home
Yeah.
Alone kid,
Macaulay Culkin.
infamously known, famous, who said, "I hang out with Mike all the time. I mean, he ain't never touched me." You had
Right.
another one who from Cody, what's his last name? But he played in the Goonies,
Yeah.
who is well known,
Corey Feldman.
Core Filming, well
Yeah.
known for
Mm-hmm.
whistleblowing on
Mm-hmm.
pedophiles in the entertainment industry. Well known, who also said, "I hung out with Michael multiple times. Have Michael touched you? No, he has not." So why would he say Michael didn't touch him, but all these other people? Why will somebody who's well known for whistleblowing on all these other people, why would he leave Michael out of it?
Right. Michael Jackson, the biggest of those names.
Why would he? It's not like Michael's alive. So why would he leave him out of it? But he telling everybody else.
Right.
People, use your damn common sense. Stop being naive. Jesus Christ. Stop.
Man.
It is laughably embarrassing for people to go off hearsay. Laughably embarrassing. Because how would you feel, those who watch it, if somebody wronged you and said you done something and you're not, there's no evidence to prove otherwise, but you're losing your job, you losing your income, you losing your 401k pension, you losing relationships with loved ones and family. How would you feel
Mm-hmm.
off someone's hearsay? How would you feel? You wouldn't be too excited, I assure you.
Right.
So imagine how these actors and actresses who are quote unquote wrongfully uh, uh, accused, how would they feel? Again, we don't know the whole story with Mr. Majors and all that, but we did find out with Mr. Johnny Depp that he was innocent. We did find out that. So,
Right.
however, until Mr. Majors proven guilty, now if he is, then again he should be held accountable. He'll hold him accountable if he is wrong. Put him in jail, whatever you got to do. Make him
Right.
accountable if it's true. However, they done the same thing to Chris Brown
Yeah.
with the Rihanna situation. Now,
Yeah.
however, if you notice careers, trajectories, her career took off, his career went down.
Hmm.
Now, Chris Brown is now, in my opinion, the greatest performing R&B artist alive right now,
Hmm.
actively. That's just my
Hmm.
opinion. However, if you notice, every time a young man come out with an album or something, he got some sort of allegations coming somewhere.
Hmm.
Every time he released something, some girl come out the woodwork. See, he choked me out. Every time an album come, you hear. Every time an album come on, you just waiting on this dude releases and say
Right.
okay.
Hmm.
And, and Chris Brown was a genius with how he done it. He owned the bad boy image. Okay, I'll be the bad boy. I'll be the bad boy. All
Yeah.
that do is going to make me more pure. Now they can't stop the motherfucker. He's the bad boy. What else
Yeah.
can we do? He owned it now. I mean, so it's just this, man. We have too much technology, and we're gonna wrap up. We got too much technology, too much access to technology to find out things for ourselves now, to be so damn naive to believe things off face value.
Yeah.
We got way too much resources to find out for ourselves of what's going on. If you're willing to believe a 40-year-old story about Mr. Bill Cosby, but you're not, and you want him to do jail time, you want to stop watching his shows and boycott all of his stuff, put in pops and all, but you won't deem the lady who lied on Emmett Till, sure, okay, that's okay. You
Yeah.
would make a whole documentary about Mr. Michael Jackson, R. Kelly, and every other black artist who perhaps partake in pedophilia, but you got Elvis Presley and all and active people. I forgot the main name on the House of Cards, but he was a person who basically came out and said he raped me when I was underage. And he just went silent, went in hiding. He didn't do no jail time. His publishing and all his people just probably told him to go in hide and wait for it to die down. That type of thing. You ain't hear about no jail time. You hear about no documentary about him, but conveniently so, as you know. As the late, great Paul Mooney used to say, and my boy, Mr. Mark, might love this one, it's the complexion for protection for collection. So, Mr. Soley, any closing remarks that you have, brother?
Oh no, man! I enjoyed this, man.
They might, hey, they might pull out the folders on us. Solely, they might pull out the folder. You can pull my folder. I don't care. I'm a nasty motherfucker. Chris, we got your browser history. We need you to calm it down. Show it. Show it. I'll show it for you. Nah, I'm playing.
Oh
But
man.
no, for real. Solely. Before we wrap up, I do want to get some intake about your open mic the other night. How did it go, man?
Oh, last night, man, it went great, bro. It
Mm,
went great. I got to put some footage up on that
okay.
today whenever I get some time today. Man,
Mm-hmm.
I had a ball last night, man. It was good hosting, and it was something like out of my norm because that was my first time hosting. You know, I like to go in, do my thing on stage, go out. But
Mm-hmm.
last night I had to host, and I had a ball, man. I'm glad CJ Baker with
Mm-hmm.
the CJ Baker band.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, man, which I also do the Earth Wind and Fire with
Mm-hmm.
yo, he's a great dude, man. Real down to earth and great musician along with Brandon and some of the others, Darian, I was with last night. We had a
Mm-hmm.
ball. We had a ball, man. We hit a bunch of songs last night, man. It was cool.
That's dope. Well, I'm
So
glad you.
I'm hoarse, man, and I'm tired. So
Well, you
I'm
had a
really
great
gonna.
time. You had a great time. I seen some of the footage last night, man. I shared some of that as well, man. I'm glad, man. You had a great time, man. I would love to come to one of those shows, man. At least open mic, do something.
Yeah.
I don't know. And but with that being said, man, I want to do say those who again we say this every week support Mr. Soley and the super band, Black Diamond, his wife, who's a phenomenal artist as well. Support them in a brand. They're local artists who are expanding very quickly. So definitely support them, man, and all their endeavors as well. Again, it's your boy Chris Lee. I just did my first comedy video in years. I just put out, you can see it on my Chris Lee fan page as well. I'm gonna try to do more of that. I still do gaming reviews on that as well. But to be honest, in the gaming community, hasn't nothing really been dropping as of use. But I will be having some new content coming out on that as well. That's on my YouTube channel. That's under K Ward 2088 or just Chris Lee. And I'll have that on my pages as well. This is the kickback. We already dropped our plugs at the beginning. I want to do that, start doing it at the beginning, so that way if people just browse the first half of our videos, they at least know where to find it later on. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all for sticking with us with this episode. It's really been a very important episode. Miss Soli been poking me for a while. Like, look, we really need to start touching on these type of subjects. And I really like, that he has the gusto to do it, because so do I. And it's good to have a partner that's like just as brave as I am to touch on these things, man. If you have any info, or if you want to share your views on what we spoke of, please put in the comment section, man. Hit us up, inboxes, whatever you want to do. If you want to just talk smack and just prove us wrong, I don't mind. My inbox open. I'll be bored sometimes. Hit me up, man. But with that being said, though, do your own research. Don't take our word for it. Research it yourself. Like, literally, don't take people's words at face value. Research. And then if I'm wrong, then prove me wrong. Call me out in front of the masses if you desire. But if we're right, which is, I would like to
call us out.
Call us out. Call us out as we right too. Don't get quiet if we right now. Don't get quiet.
In front of the masses.
In front of the masses. Keep the same energy on both sides of it now, okay?
Right.
I'm gonna try to do another episode like this on more deeper things with Mr. Pooh, because he have mentioned things. We all spoke about different conspiracies, different things that's going on out in this world that people not noticing. And I want to kind of touch on those things a lot more going forward. So with that being said, I appreciate you all. I love you all for supporting us. And remember to follow Soul Lead Super Band, and what's the other one band?
One Super Band Music on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. And don't pull up stuff from 20 years ago with us now. Try to pull up something when I was in college and I didn't pay my debts. Anything like that. So, just leave us alone. Leave us be. So with that being said, love you all. Peace. Remember to share this, man. Peace out. Bet.